We are finally going to be working on the top for the bench. I'm very nervous. I never build anything, so and it's just a top. I don't know why I'm so nervous about it, but I got these two boards at Menards because I could not find one that was the like width that I needed, or what do they call that, depth? The depth that I needed. So I'm going to have to put these two boards together and hopefully it looks fabulous and wonderful. But I do need to cut the length some. So the bench is 30 and a fourth. So I'm going to do 31 and a fourth. So there's just a little bit overhang, like a ½ inch overhang on each side. But there's going to be no overhang on the back. And there is going to be a slight overhang on the front if I calculated correctly when I bought these two boards how like wide they were. So we're hoping for the best here. So I'm going to go ahead and measure. I'm going to go back in and measure the bench again just to make sure I'm not tripping, because I don't want to go back and buy any more boards. They weren't that expensive, but I don't feel like going back or spending more money. So, and then I'm going to measure on both boards, and then I'm going to try to cut off the end that is like the worst end. So like this end has kind of like that big knot in there, which doesn't really bother me like all that much because I like a kind of rustic vibe. But I'm going to try and go for like whatever worse end there is to cut that end off, and then I'll just have that scrap wood. So I just wanted to measure and make sure I had the exact length. So I ran inside, measured again to make sure it was correct. And then I am just marking both of my boards. And I believe I had to run back in to get my little L square thing. I thought he had a T square in here, but he did not that I could find. So I have like an L square from Dollar Tree. So I just wanted to make sure I got a nice straight line on my cut. And if you're thinking like, okay, your hair's purple again, maybe you're a regular and you watch all our videos. If you are, thank you so much for doing that. We love you. I had filmed this before some of the other ones that came out, and I am just all over the place bouncing around with filming here, trying to get some home projects done and things. So I did not dye my hair purple again, but it is purple in this clip. So also safety first. I got my I should say my husband's safety goggles on. And you're going to see that I put this saw down like a lot. So I am not turning it on. I'm just making sure I have it just the smidgen of smidgens past my like mark line. And I don't want to go just like willy-nilly cutting. I want to make sure I get a nice clean cut on both boards at the exact length that I need, because I am going to be putting them together. And I don't want anything to be too wonky on one side. So I just made sure that everything was perfect before I went ahead and cut. And yes, when I use the saw, it still scares me sometimes. I stand back. Why, I don't know. Like it's going to fly at me anyway. So I don't know why I do that. But I guess in case like the whole entire blade decides to just pop off, those extra few inches or centimeters that I stepped back is really going to help me. I don't know why I do that. But when I was editing this, I was laughing at myself because it was like, okay, ready to cut. And I'm like 10 feet away from it. But don't be scared by saws. I was really scared at one point in time, but they come in so handy for home projects and you can totally do it. I guess step back 10 feet away from the saw when you use it like I do. So now it is time to give both boards a just kind of like nice smooth sand. I'm going to be sanding them after I connect them as well, but I wanted to get a nice smooth sand in here. So just all of the edges and everything before I connected them together. And yes, we have paint all over the floor in our garage. It's a mess. But I will say this folding table, I had never used this folding table for like projects and stuff. And my husband was just kind of like fixing up the garage like a few weeks ago. And he put both of our tables, that tall one that you see on the right, that's our entertaining table, like when we have Christmas or Thanksgiving or like a party where we need a lot of seating, and this folding table. And I was like, why am I not using this folding table for projects? Because it's definitely seen better days. Okay. It's not like we're hosting on this little one here. So it came in super handy for this. So if you have like a folding table or you see one at like a garage sale or a thrift store or something and it's really cheap, comes in handy for garage projects. I am now just using some wood glue and making sure I get a nice good coat on there. I could have used like pocket holes or something, but I have never actually used the pocket hole thing, I don't think. Maybe like once. We have one. It's like a little one that you clamp on. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to glue them together. It's fine. And my husband was laughing so hard because he came upstairs from break. And he was like, are you kidding that you used my clamps? I bought him these clamps for Christmas.
He has yet to use them. And he was like, did you really use my clamps before I used my clamps? And I was like, well, hun, what was I supposed to do? I don't know. But he wasn't mad or anything. He was just kidding with me. But these clamps, definitely recommend, because you're going to see in a later video, maybe it's later in this video, who knows, but there's another project that I use these clamps on, and they came in super, super handy. So the magic of YouTube, this is like the next day because I had to let that glue dry overnight. I am just, taking everything off, and I'm going to be using some wood filler. Now, this is, I think it's the Gorilla wood filler. I can't remember, but I got it from Walmart. And I got the squeeze tube one because my mind said, well, you're just going to take that just like cake icing, squeeze it all the way down the middle so I could kind of like cover up that seam. That's not at all how this worked. It would not, my hands hurt so bad, it would not come out. Like, I mean, I was pushing and pulling and squeezing and like putting all the pressure down. And like, this was the worst wood glue I think that I've ever used. So I will never buy it again in a squeeze tube. I will just get a container of wood glue, get my finger in there and get messy because I had to anyway, and just go for it. So I wouldn't recommend a squeeze tube unless you guys have one that you really, really like that comes out really easily for projects like this. Please let me know down in the comments below. But this was awful. I don't know if it was just like bad and Walmart had this for like 10 years on their shelf or what, but it was an absolute pain. And it took me way longer to wood fill this. Did I say wood glue? I meant wood filler. It took me way longer to fill this than I wanted it to. So the next day after I let everything sit, I came in again with another sand. Now, there is a little bit of bow in the middle where the wood was kind of connected together. So I did have to hand sand that a little bit, but I did want to make sure everything was smooth. And I was trying to get all of this blue off of the side. And there was one side I could not get it off of. Like, I was indenting that side and it wasn't like a smooth surface then. It wasn't a straight line. And I was like, I cannot sand this blue off anymore or I'm going to have a big divot in the side of my bench top. So I just stained right over it and just put that on the side that nobody sees. Like, you have to be in the actual mudroom to see that side. But so I guess choose your boards carefully. I really thought that blue was going to sand off really easily when I was at the hardware store. Apparently it does not. So choose your boards carefully. If they have a bunch of spray paint on them, don't be like me and don't buy them. Buy a different board because it took me forever to try to get the blue off and I could only get it off of one side. But I did want to make sure everything was nice and smooth and all of my wood filler was nice and smooth as well. And I made sure that I got wood filler that was stainable because I am going to be staining this. This color I've actually never used. It is called Western Oak. I got it from Menards. I'm sure they sell it other places as well. I spent about 25 minutes picking out this stain color because I was unsure. I don't like anything too orange. Usually I go for like a really, really dark color or a gray. And I'm trying to bring some warmth into the home. So I didn't want to do that, but it took me forever to figure this out. The reason I picked this brand is because they actually had like little samples of the different kind of woods and what the stain looked like. And I believe I had pine here. So I was looking at what the stain looked like on their little samples for pine. So that's why I went with this particular brand because I really liked that they did that because it, shows up differently on different types of wood. So I'm staining the bottom edges just a little bit. This is going to be the part that sits on top of the bench, not the part that you see. There's going to be no overhang. You'll find that out here in a minute. Spoiler alert, I just told you. But I thought there was going to be. So I went ahead and just stained that little kind of like edge. And now I'm just getting a good coat on the top. And I only did one coat. And the boards did stain, both of them a little bit differently. But I kind of like that little rustic vibe. So I did not mind that they were a little bit different. There were knots in some and not in others. I just kind of like that vibe. So I did not mind at all. Here we have the bench almost done. Here lies the problem. I didn't get boards that were wide enough. Swear when I was measuring, something went awry. I still think it's going to look okay, but the problem is that I wanted a slight overhang on the front. I'm not going to get that, and it's too late now. I've already gone this far. I think I'm gonna have to get the paint out again. I know, and like touch it up because it's gonna be flush against the front now, but in the back, I'm trying to pull it away from the wall a little bit so that you can see.
in the back, it's not going to go like all the way to the back. So I think I'm going to have to like paint that so it's less obvious. I did not overpaint very much because I thought the whole top was going to cover the actual top of the bench. It's not. So off camera, I'm going to touch that up. Let me pull this off and show you. I'm basically just going to do kind of like an edge on this white. So if that anything kind of like shows, it won't be as apparent. So after that dries, we will come back and do our pilot holes.
It is time for me now to attach the top. So I used some painter's tape to help me get the screw holes perfectly. So I didn't have one that was like really, really off center with the other one. And I also got some, oh my goodness, they're drill bits, countersink drill bits off of Amazon. I will have those linked down below in case you are interested. But that actually came in really helpful to have that screw kind of go down inside a bit. Now, I didn't fill it. I don't mind the way that it looks, but I may decide to go back and fill it with some of that awful wood filler later and just stain over it so you can't like see it at all. But it did help kind of the look of the bench because it is countersunk into the wood. So highly recommend those. I will, like I said, have them linked down below. Also, let me know in the comments. I did ask in a previous video if you guys like voice the entire time. I feel like I've been doing nothing but talking for like 12 minutes now. But I'm not sure if you guys really like the music or if you don't like the music. So let me know in the comments down below. Do you like a mixture of music or do you like just a straight voiceover? This is how the bench turned out. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm still thinking the black bench and that little black thing in the corner is too much black in a row. Let me know about that too. But this mudroom has really come together and I just think it is so, so cute. My bathroom. Welcome to that hole. Well, it's kind of a hole. We used to have this up there and it was just, oh, let me see if I can show you. It was just on there with like these little strips and it decided to fall off the other day. So I decided that I'm going to screw one in instead. So it covers this. So I have like some sticky stuff that I need to take off of here. And then I'm going to show you the one that I got to replace it. Also, I wanted to do an update on this. So I removed our shower doors a while ago. Great video. Check it out. It's down below. But then I had gone back in a different video and tried to kind of touch some of this up with a different product. And I do not at all like this other product. The original one that I had used in that video was no longer being sold on Amazon. So I got this product, which is supposed to be similar, but it is like bubbling up. See if I can get you some light. Yeah, let's stand right in front of the light. It's bubbling up like really bad. And when it gets hot in here, like when we're like in the shower, you can literally, like right now you can't because it's hard, but like if you're in the shower, you could literally like pop these bubbles and like try and peel them off. So I'm gonna have to like redo this at some point, but I wanted to give you an update on that product because I know some people really wanted to do their shower doors. I get a lot of comments on that original video. That original product was very messy. It came like busted open, but it worked so much better. This product, do not recommend. So I will have the product linked down in the description box just so you know, like, buy at your own risk if you want to use this one. And I will see if the original one is back on Amazon. If so, I will have it linked. And also, if so, I'm probably going to buy it and touch this up. But for right now, we're just focused on this. So I'm going to try and peel off some of this sticky bit. I'm thinking, like, can I just get it with my fingernail? Probably not. But I'm going to try and peel off some of this sticky bit. And then we're going to spray paint the hook because I didn't have one in the color that I wanted. And I will show you all that. So here's the hook that I bought. I got this from Walmart. It's the Better Homes and Gardens brand. I just happened to be at Walmart, but they didn't have anything gold. So I got the matte black finish, and I just liked kind of the the sturdiness of it because my husband hangs like his towel, his swim trunks, and then like a little bag he has that has some of his shaving stuff in it for when he's doing his beard and everything. He hangs it all on this hook. So I liked the like sturdiness of it, but I need to make it gold. So I'm going to use that same gold spray paint that I've used in previous videos. If you're interested in that gold spray paint, I will have it linked down below for you. But I'm just going to take this into the garage off camera and just hit it with a good coat of the spray paint. So for some reason, I did not spray paint the screws. I don't know why, but I didn't give them a little coat. So I went to hang this up and I was like, oh, the screws are black. So then I was like, you know what? I got that rub and buff. I'll just put a little rub and buff on the screws. Well, it ended up being like a completely different gold when I did that. So I had to rub and buff the entire thing. So I don't know if it's going to like rub off or not. I hear that it's not great for places that are going to be touched a lot. But this was just kind of my solution for right now since I was already in here and the spray paint was already dry. So before we close out, I had told you guys that we were redoing the pool off camera, and I wanted to show you a little bit of that footage, just a little bit.
In a previous video that we were redoing the pool because it wasn't level, plus moles have dug all underneath. So he's taken a while to do that because he wants to make sure it's absolutely perfect. He has a string with a little string level thing. And I was just out there kind of sprucing up the patio, spraying some of like, oh my goodness, out of focus, some of that stuff like black and touching up the chairs.
We did not film this entire process. It was just a whole thing. I should have got a better video of this, but I just wanted to kind of insert this and let you know what we did. We did end up getting some rock delivered, which took us forever backbreaking labor to move it all the way to the backyard. They could not dump it back there. They had to dump it right here. So if you were wondering where the gazebo went in that previous clip, we had not put the gazebo up yet when we were doing the pool. So we used even more anchors and massive anchors this time to make sure that it did not go anywhere whatsoever and it was good to go. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful or at least entertaining. Make sure you check out the video and the playlist on the screen. And as always, smash that subscribe button so you can become part of our YouTube family. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.